What if I told you you have long COVID because you want to? You are sick because it's your goal to be sick. When I first heard about this, I became very angry. I thought to myself, there's no way I'm making myself sick, that I'm giving myself all these weird symptoms. If anything, it's the opposite. I want to be well. I want to be healthy. I heard about these two different philosophies to approach life. And while I was reading one of my favorite books, I realized that I was living under one of these philosophies. And it made me ask myself some of these questions. Do you believe that life happens to you or for you? Do you believe you're unhappy because of the events in your life? Or do you believe that you are choosing to be unhappy and creating these events in your life? Do you believe you're sick because of the events beforehand? Or do you believe you're making yourself sick to avoid something in your life? The book I'm speaking about is called The Courage to Be Disliked. It's one of my favorite books. It has so many important lessons in it. But one of the lessons that I took was about the way we perceive our life. It spoke about two different philosophies. The first philosophy it speaks about is determinism. Determinism is pretty much cause and effect, that everything is predetermined based on its past. Every cause has an effect. We look at our past to explain our current life or our current outcomes. It assumes that your past drives your present. One example I could think of is if you are born into poverty, then you will grow up to be poor. In this example's case, if you are born into poverty, that is the cause of why, the effect, you continue to be poor. The second philosophy is based on Adlerian's theory, and it's called teleology. I had to look up how to say this word. Teleology says that everything that you do, behave, or feel is because it is your desire. It is your goal. And sometimes that goal can be a subconscious goal, a goal that our conscious self is not really aware of. To better explain this philosophy, I'm going to read a quote directly from the book. No matter what has occurred in your life up to this point, it should have no bearing at all on how you live from now on. That you, living in the here and now, are the one who determines your own life. The book shares an example of a person who has trouble leaving their room. They want to leave their room so they can live a normal life, socialize, and get a normal job. But they're struggling. Every time they try to leave the room, they get anxiety, they get a panic attack, they feel pain in their chest, they get this weird sensation on their arms and their legs, they start shaking. And he truly wants to change. He really wants to be able to leave his room to get a job and become part of society. In this example, if you are looking at it through the deterministic lens, then you can say this person never left the room because of some sort of trauma. The cause being that because he was bullied and had some sort of childhood trauma in his life, the effect being he can never leave the room. To be honest with you, when I heard this example, to me it sounded normal. This is the way I kind of approach life, my whole life. But if you're seeing it from a different perspective, a different viewpoint, which is teleology, things change drastically. Teleology would say that he is having all these symptoms so that he can never leave the room. And the subject in this example is the one giving himself those weird symptoms and sensations so that he can accomplish his goal of staying in the room. But how is his goal to stay in the room? Because he's insecure. And in reality, he is super scared and afraid of maybe being rejected by the outside world. So in his heart, his goal really is to never be rejected and to stay safe. And for him to accomplish that, he has to stay inside his room. So he creates all these sensations, anxiety to accomplish that goal. Now listen, I know this sounds insulting, so please don't be offended. When I first read this book and I heard about this idea that it's me creating these symptoms and that I'm really the one making myself sick, I thought there's no way it's possible. No way. How is it possible that I'm the one making myself sick? I don't want to be sick. I want to be healthy. When I heard about teleology, I really took some time to reflect on my own life. I asked so many different questions. Was I the one giving myself long COVID? Was I the one giving myself these symptoms? I really approached this with curiosity. And instead of being defensive, I was just trying to figure it out. I was really trying to solve a puzzle here. Because in the end of the day, I didn't care if I was right or wrong. I just wanted to be healed. And some questions that came up are, what would it mean for me and my life if I fully healed? Would I go back to a life that I disliked, maybe even hated? A life that I was probably not very excited about? From the outside world looking into my life, things look great. You know, I had a good job, high-paying job, had benefits, pension, health insurance. I just bought a new car. I was going to the gym every day, married. Everything looked great. But after thinking deeply
and really taking the time to reflect, I realized that I was really not living the life I wanted. I was living the life that my father wanted.
This realization was really hard. Was my subconscious so afraid of returning to that old life, so much so that it gave me all these symptoms to prevent me from going back to that old life? Was my subconscious somehow trying to protect me? Did my subconscious believe that that old life was somehow miserable and dangerous? This realization was really hard. To be honest with you, I felt like me leaving that old life was sort of leaving and betraying my parents in a sense. They were really proud of that life. But in the end of the day, it wasn't a life I really wanted. And when I figured all this out, I knew I had to create a new life for me to heal. I had to create a life that I, Roberto, was excited about. A life that I actually wanted to live. A life I actually wanted to return to when I fully healed. It looks like I was taking a huge step back. I had to quit my full-time job, and nursing was no longer the center of my life. In a sense, I stopped climbing the corporate ladder in nursing. I actually began to look for a part-time or even a per diem job. I was afraid of making these big decisions. I was afraid of making these new choices, especially because the people around me were not very supportive. The people around me, the people that loved me, were the ones that were telling me, how are you going to do this? How are you going to let go of your career? How are you going to let go? How are you going to quit and let go of such a good job? You have such great benefits. What are you going to do with health insurance? What are you going to do without health insurance? What if you end up in the hospital and have $1 million bill and you have no health insurance? Are you really going to let your career go down the drain? How are you going to support your family?
Other people would share their own negative thoughts, their own fears, and they would try to impose it on me. They would tell me, hey, Rob, you're messing up your career and all these different things. And you have to be careful that you don't let their thoughts influence you. And it really becomes, how can I quiet and silence those negative thoughts? And I have a video for that. So if you haven't watched it yet, I will save it for you in the end of this video. Keep in mind, when you have negative thoughts, it just means that your mind believes you're in danger and is trying to protect you. That's all. Don't overthink it. Watch that video in the end.
So what did I do? Number one, I ignored the critics. Stop worrying about the opinions of those people around you. I know this is hard because you love them and they love you. And I know it's hard because you may love these people and respect them, and you know that they have great intentions, but you need to stop listening to what they're saying. This is your life, not theirs. And I know this is hard, maybe harder than you're even aware, because most of us, for our whole life, we have been listening to our parents, caregiver, family, friends, coworkers, bosses, our society, and all of a sudden, now you have to change that. Now you have to listen to what you are feeling. And you start this process by ignoring the critics. 2, realize that you have control over your life. I think that this is a hard pill to swallow, especially at first, because it goes both ways. If you have control over your life, that means that all the mistakes and all the flaws of your life are your responsibility. And I think a lot of us don't want to take that responsibility. But don't shame yourself. Don't guilt yourself. We all make mistakes. Life isn't perfect. We're all gonna one day die. Enjoy this beautiful journey we have. Give yourself grace. Be kind to yourself. We all make mistakes. That's all right. Sometimes unforeseen circumstances befall us all. And sometimes there's no good reason for it. It just happens. The faster you swallow this pill, the faster you can start working on the life you want. So smile. Keep moving. You got this. 3, start listening to your heart. Start listening to your curiosity. Start listening to your interests. How do you know if you're on the right path? When you read a book or you watch a video or you hear other people speaking about the topic, time slows down. Your eyes light up. You begin to lose awareness of the things around you. You catch yourself smiling. In that moment, you are experiencing joy. This part is hard because you've been conditioned by your parents, your caregivers, by society to repress these emotions. Society tells you that your joy, your happiness, it doesn't matter. What really matters is how much money you make, your social status, your job, your car, how big your house is. And now you have to learn how to put your joyfulness and your happiness first in your life. Remember, you are important. Your emotions and your feelings are important. Doing the things that bring you joy are important. I give you permission to do something every day that brings a smile on your face, to do something that just brings you happiness and joy. Yes, it won't make you richer. It won't make other people happier and it won't make you more productive, but it will make you happy. And that's important. The fourth step, reflect. Stop what you're doing. Sit down. Turn off the phone. Turn off the TV. Turn off the music. Stop all the distractions you have going around you. Put the book down and take time to reflect. That may just be thinking, or maybe take out a journal or a piece of paper and write some of your thoughts down. Writing in a journal is a perfect way to slow down your thoughts and to really think and reflect on what your thoughts and what this mind of yours is thinking. And anytime you're having trouble accomplishing something, even maybe you're taking a long time healing or you're not fully there, think about these questions I'm going to ask you. Ask yourself, maybe in a journal or in your head, do I truly want that goal? Does that goal truly excite me? Or am I just doing it out of a sense of duty? How would my life look like if I accomplished this goal? And does that life somehow scare me or give me anxiety in any shape or form? What can my subconscious be protecting me from? Is it fun accomplishing this goal? Or if I made no money and received no praise, would I continue to desire this goal? Changing my life philosophy from determinism to teleology completely changed my life. It helped me take control over my life. I stopped feeling powerless. And yeah, I had to make some hard choices, but I was happy that it was my life, not anybody else's. I began to realize that I started to get excited about this new life. I was excited to heal and to live this new life. I gave myself permission to enjoy life because my happiness is worth it. And so is yours. This is how I was able to gain control of my life, and I was able to live a life full of joy, guilt-free. And I hope this helps you out as well. If you like this video, then you're definitely gonna like one of these.
No, no, no. You gotta smile a little more, a little personality, all right? If you like this video and you want to see more, then check out these videos.
If you like this video and you want to see more, then click one of these videos.
Cut.
Cut.
Scene.
Done.